everyone, welcome back, and in this video I'll be giving you some information on how to conduct an iteration retrospect meeting. So I had taken a video on what is an iteration retrospect, and this is the continuation of that as to how to conduct one retrospect iteration meeting. So let's get into it. So there are basically 5 steps in this entire process. Okay, so if you see the framework, the first one is setting up the stage. Second one is gather data. Then you generate insights. You decide what needs to be done, and the fifth one is close the session. So now let's look at the first step in this process, which is setting up the stage. So in this process, everyone comes for the meeting, and you as a facilitator, you should be able to set the stage. So at this time, there are various things that you need to take into account. The first one is giving a small introduction about the retro. Now, there might be some people who have been, who are newcomers to your team. They have joined your team lately, they are new to the entire agile world, and they might not have any idea what a retro is. So it's always good to start off and check if there is someone who has no idea what the meeting is about, and then give them a little gist of what the meeting is and what are the outcomes of the meeting. The second one is start with the agile retro prime directive. Okay, so now this retro prime directive is something like a golden rule, and this is the directive which was first put forth by Norm Kurth, and it says, regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills and abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand. So by reading out this prime directive, it's setting the stage saying that everyone did their best given whatever circumstance, their skills, etc. So with this mind and with this, mindset, you can kick off the retro. Apart from this, you also can run a safety check. For example, if everyone are willing to provide valuable feedback and participate in a retro. Now, in the retro, it's very important that people are open to share feedbacks, because it's only through these feedbacks that you're able to generate ideas, you're going to be able to understand what went wrong, and you can take suitable action plans. So if no one is going to be interested to provide feedback, then this session is going to be meaningless. So you can always do it in a private mode, because not every time people will be okay with saying that no, I'm not okay with sharing feedbacks. If it's going to be virtually, then yes, you can collect it in a private mode, and you can ask people to just give a number which is from 1 to 5, where 1 is people are not interested, and 5 is if they are interested and very much interested to participate and provide their feedback in the retro. The last one is start with an icebreaker to help the team get refreshed and relieved from the stress of previous meetings and work. Now, sometimes this retro can happen any part of the day. It doesn't mean it should be always in the first thing that happens during the day. It can be either in the afternoons, or it can be even when you're wrapping up the day in the evenings. So people are generally, stressed about, their work already, or they might have been with back-to-back meetings. So if you give them an icebreaker, they would automatically de-stress from all the other work, and they would fix their mind into the retrospect mood, and they would be able to provide their feedbacks in a very much eased manner. So these are some things you have to take up when you are setting the stage for a retro meeting. The next one is gather data. Now, once everyone's ready to provide their feedback, you as a facilitator, you need to enable the team to provide their feedbacks of the iteration that has just passed. So give the team some time so that they can think and add their points. And what are these points? These are points of things that went well during the iteration and things that did not go well during the iteration. So give them some time, let them think about it, and let them add down their points. Now, in the video that I took on what is an iteration retrospect meeting, I would have mentioned on some examples of what you can say when things went well, and some examples of things what you can say when things did not go well. So you can always watch that video also. But these are some examples. People might, focus on, if they want to say things that went well, it can be some process, some collaboration that went well, some methods that you used that went well. And things that did not go well, it can be something like some blockers, some issues that happened. It can be some wrong estimations that was done, some miscommunication. So these are some examples. So now once you have gathered this data, The next step is generate insights. So, in this stage of generating insights, you need to enable the team to dive to the root causes of the things that did not go well. Now, when things went well, you needn't focus much. Your main aim and your main focus needs to be on the things that did not go well. And one thing that I like to do is, if you're going to be a facilitator, you cannot take each and every point and say why this didn't go well, what's the problem. A easy way to run this session is first to take down all the stickies. Let's say they're doing it on a mural board. So if they are doing it, take down all the stickies that are similar in meaning and try to find themes. Okay. Now, for example, someone has commented saying that different time zones are, blocking their, or it's going to be some barrier to communication. And another person might say, not aware of design changes. So when you look at the overall theme of all these, things that were pointed out, it's all relating to communication. So you can group down all the similar points together under themes. And once you find out themes, then you can ask people to talk about the individual notes and then try to drill down to why that particular situation had occurred. Now, there's a method called as the 5 whys. So, as a facilitator, if you're facilitating this retrospect meeting, you can keep asking the team around 5 whys. Why did this happen? Why couldn't it be done in this way? Why was it done in this way? So keep asking why, and then it will enable the team to drive down to the root causes and identify different, root causes of that particular problem. So once the team has identified the, real root causes of the problem, the next stage is decide what needs to be done. Now, the main aim and objective of the retro is not just to, identify some things went well and some things did not go well. For things that did not go well, you need to take some action so that the next iteration you would be able to perform better and there would be some improvement. That's the entire goal of an iteration. So, when it comes to this stage, let the team come up with some action items. So now since they know now what are the things that didn't go well and what things need to be focused on, they would come up with action items. So you as a facilitator, you can note down all the action items. And one way that is really nice to take down these action items is not just by taking down a list of action items. It's by segregating them into 3 categories. One is the things that the team might have to start doing in order to make the next iteration more better. There might be certain things that the team have to stop doing in order to avoid certain scenarios that would improve the entire next iteration experience. And there are some things that the team needs to continue to do in order to have a smooth execution of the iteration and improve the iteration. So it's always nice where you would be able to put down the action items into these 3 categories, so the team would be able to know the things that need to be started, stopped and continued. Okay. And after putting down these action items, it doesn't stop there. Who needs to be responsible for those action items? Something that's also important. So make note of who will be signing up for each action item. So let's say someone needs to take into account saying that I'll be a person who's going to take in charge for this particular issue. Okay. So at that time, for every action item, someone needs to sign up so that the next time you have someone responsible for that action item and no one comes up in the team and says, I don't know, I didn't know that I was responsible for this. So always when you take down action items, see that someone signs up for those action items. And with this, the last stage is closing the session. So when you close the session, you can recap on the entire, important points. And after that, it's a time of celebration because everyone did their best, regardless of, whatever things happened and, the situation in hand, everyone did their best. So at this time, you can congratulate the entire team. You can, mention someone who has, really done something extraordinary, who has taken some extra effort, who has gone past the mile. You can give out kudos, you can give out shout outs to people also. So at the end, it's all about celebrating how well the team has come forward all through the entire iteration and learning from what went wrong and trying to improve in the next iteration. So this is the last step of the iteration, and after this you can close the session. These are some general steps and points that you need to keep in mind when you're facilitating a iteration retrospect meeting. So I hope these points were very informative to you. So if you like this video, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.